facing the police every single day.
Georgia man suspected of ingesting narcotics, succumbs to injuries at local hospital. Charlotte County, FL. On March 24, 2021, a member of the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle exiting the Wawa parking lot located in Port Charlotte, Florida. The driver was unable to produce a valid driver's license or vehicle registration. Utilizing a Georgia ID card, the driver was identified as Brandon H. Bollinger, April 24, 1987. The passenger was identified as Christy N. Sunbury Kramer, August 31, 1990. After running their names through dispatch, it was learned that both occupants of the vehicle had warrants out of Georgia for possession of controlled substance. Within the vehicle, members located a torn baggie with suspected methamphetamine scattered along the seat. Additionally, members located suspected marijuana, 2 syringes, various drug paraphernalia, 16 pills identified as quishapib fumarate and 2 rabbits. Animal Control responded to take custody of the animals and both suspects were arrested and transported to the Charlotte County Jail. Shortly after entering the jail facility, Bollinger was observed in his cell actively seizing. Jail staff immediately rendered aid while simultaneously alerting medical staff to respond. Medical professionals suspected that Bollinger had reacted to something ingested prior to arrest, leading them to administer Narcan. Unfortunately, the Narcan was ineffective and Bollinger was transported to Punta Gorda Bayfront Hospital. Upon admittance into Punta Gorda Bayfront, lab results confirmed the presence of narcotics in his system. It was determined that Bollinger was in critical condition and on March 25, 2021 was transferred to Bayfront Health Port Charlotte due to limitations at Punta Gorda Bayfront. On March 29, after several days of medical interventions, Brandon H. Bollinger, April 24, 1987, succumbed to his injuries. Next of kin was notified and the official cause of death will be determined by the medical examiner. Major crimes detectives are investigating the case further.
A Charlotte County inmate has died from appears to be self-inflicted injuries. According to reports, on Friday afternoon, Charlotte County EMS personnel were dispatched to the Charlotte County Jail to provide medical attention to 54-year-old David Zakalos. He had been in court earlier in the day and sentenced to 15 years in prison with an additional 15 years probation for burglary and battery on a person over 65 years or older and a battery on law enforcement officer. EMS was processed back into jail. Then shortly after, he was seen seemingly unintentionally jumping over the protective railing on the second floor and falling to the concrete floor below. He died at the hospital. The investigation into his death is still ongoing.
Tonight, we do know the identity of the person who was found dead outside the Charlotte County Jail yesterday. The sheriff's office says that jail staff found the body of Janice Ridgway right near some benches outside the jail building. Turns out she had been arrested on Monday and had just been released on bond that afternoon. Deputies believe she stayed on the property until she was found yesterday morning. Deputies do not believe her death to be suspicious, but the medical examiner is conducting an autopsy to determine exactly how she died.
An accused child molester found dead in his cell this morning. James Palmucci was originally booked into the Charlotte County Jail in September over dozens of charges relating to sex crimes against children. Fox 4's Sandra Rodriguez spoke with detectives who are looking into how the inmate died. Sandra?
Charlotte County deputies tell me James Palmucci's body was discovered this morning when jail staff went to notify him of a court hearing he had scheduled for today.
Officer called for emergency traffic and we provided care. Unfortunately, he is deceased.
Deputies say 48-year-old James Palmucci was found unresponsive around 6 this morning in his jail cell. He was originally booked into the Charlotte County Jail on 83 charges of sex crimes against children. Those charges ranging from possession of child pornography to molestation of children under the age of 12.
We had a good amount of evidence towards him. Obviously, we arrested him on those charges and the state was going forward with those charges. So he was looking at a decent amount of time.
Investigators say Palmucci was found with fabric around his neck.
He did have an arraignment this morning, so a lot of people, when they're faced with different types of investigations, you don't know what they're thinking.
Deputies not yet confirming it was a suicide, but say it all indicates to be.
Our investigation will just put the facts out of how it happened, what time it happened, and we'll go from there.
Lieutenant Heck says the focus now is getting the suspected victims the help they need and encouraging others to come forward.
So if they still come forward and they were a victim, we can point them in the right direction for those resources, again, counseling or other means that they need through our care advocates that we have at our office or through the state attorney's office.
Deputies say Palmucci was in the general population pod with similar classified inmates, but was housed alone in a cell. In Charlotte County, Sandra Rodriguez, Fox 4.
Breaking right now on Fox 4 News at 10, an inmate at the Charlotte County Jail found dead inside his cell tonight. Officials say the inmate was found unresponsive in his cell just after 5 o'clock. He was found with a piece of material around his neck. Staff attempted to resuscitate the man. They were not able to do that. The inmate's name has not been released, and they say right now they're having trouble locating his next of kin. We do know the inmate was a white man in his 50s. A phone line has now been set up for families to check on their loved ones if they're behind bars. That number is 941-833-6357.